a different day, and I'm probably just gonna start off the video by talking about this, but I forgot to mention another palette that I've been loving in the month of March, and I don't know how I forgot to mention this. I'm sorry, I'm still a bit under the weather. So the palette I wanted to talk about, I talked about in February favorites too, but I've been using this palette quite a bit in March as well. And that is the Glaminatrix Nearly Natural palette. I had to mention this palette again because I'm wearing it on my eyes today, and I actually have been wearing it quite a bit for class. And I love this palette. I love the mattes in here. The shimmers are amazingly pigmented. And if you guys have been thinking about trying Glaminatrix, I would suggest you do. These shimmers are just so insanely blinding and absolutely stunning. They're just so wet looking on the lid, and for someone that's a shimmer girl, I absolutely love these. They're just all so beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that insane how pigmented those are? And they reflect in like even the dullest of lighting, because my lighting is not that great, but look at that. They're just so stunning. So this one is, I believe that one's Nearly Natural. This one is Naked Eye, and this one is Unveiled. Absolutely gorgeous, and the mattes perform beautifully as well. So I am wearing it on my eyes today actually as well. I keep on reaching for this palette over and over and over again, and it is a beautiful palette. So I'm wearing Simplicity in the crease, and I darken up the crease more, barely there. And then I use Naturally on the outer corners. And then I use Naked Eye on the lid. And then I just used Nude on the inner corners. And that is all I'm wearing. And it's just so easy to do a look with this. And it's just beautiful. I love it. And yeah, I can't believe I forgot to mention this. So yeah, now let's get into the rest of the favorites in this video. Okay, so hey there guys. So today's video is going to be my March favorites. I'm actually not going anywhere today because I actually came down with another cold, even though I was sick just a few weeks ago. My brother brought home a cold a couple of days ago, so I ended up getting it, and now my mom and dad are kind of coming down with it too. So I just figured to stay home and share my favorites with you guys. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to start out with some of the eyeshadow palettes I've been loving this month. And the first one is the ColourPop Snow White palette. This one's really pretty. I like it so far. Isn't my favorite ColourPop palette ever? No, but I do really like the formula of this palette. I have been using it on and off this past month as well. And I do like it. I think that the color story is nice. I think that the shimmers are beautiful in this palette. I have absolutely no issues with any of these shimmers or mattes. They all perform like the solid ColourPop formula that I can rely on. And I do really like it. I do think that they could have changed up a little bit with this palette. Like they could have put some more like maybe a blue or maybe a red. I've said that enough times about this palette, but I do think that these shimmers are stunning. These are the only two that I've used more than once on my lid, but I think it's a pretty palette, and I do want to jump into it again to do like a simple neutral look because I think it's great for that. Do I have enough palettes that do that for me though? Definitely, but I do think that these two shimmers are really nice, and I do like that we have these deepening options in here, but I think that these two shades are just too light to do more with, but these two shades are stunning. I think that the shimmer selection is great in the palette. I think that the matte selection is where it's lacking. I think I wouldn't change any of these shimmers. I think the shimmers are absolutely perfect for the color story and to match her dress. I think that they killed it with the shimmer selection, but with the mattes, like again, I could have just used like one or two like more interesting matte shades in here. So yeah. But the collection of as a whole, I think is one of their best Disney collections that they've done in a while, because I feel like with the Disney collections sometimes that they're just lacking with the products that they include, but the packaging is absolutely gorgeous. Sorry. But yeah, it's just a great little palette, so I'm not disappointed with this at all. Again, the quality is great in here. So, but that was really the only ColourPop palette I've been interested in lately. I haven't really been picking up many lately. I have way too many anyway, and like I don't really use them these past couple of weeks because I've been using other palettes. So The other two palettes I wanted to mention are the ones from the Perfect World collection, and these are the Baddie Bean and Makeup Just for Fun palettes, and this is the Planet Spirit palette, and this is the Flora Story palette. So the first one is the Baddie Bean palette, and I've been absolutely loving this palette, you guys. I love the quality of this palette. The mattes are just so good in here, and they blend out beautifully, super pigmented. Honestly, like, you really don't need any other, like, deepening shades with these mattes because they're just so poppy and colorful, and they're just so pigmented. And the shimmers in here are absolutely stunning. I love this green shade. I love the gold. I love this purple. Just a wonderful, easy palette to use, and I cannot wait to use this palette more in the spring and summertime. I haven't really used it lately because I've been using two newer palettes that I've been testing out, but I have used all the shades in here, and I do really like it so far. So yeah, I cannot wait to jump into this again and use it in the summertime. And then the other one is the Flora Story palette. I'm not going to be swatching anything in these videos because, I mean, I might swatch a couple of things, but if you guys want to see me swatch things, I do swatch a lot in my haul video that I shared these palettes in. And this is the Flora Story palette. And with this palette, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this palette because I love the shimmers in here, but the mattes are the worst quality shimmers I've ever used from Oden's Eye. They are super powdery and hard to work with, and they are hard to get on the eyes. But overall, when I do finish my look, I do really like how it turns out, but I just feel like the matte quality is really lacking in here. This is the deepest shade in here, and so is this green. So I usually tend to pull in like a deepening brown just to round out the look. But I do find that I do like using just a few mattes from this palette and then swiping a shimmer all over the lid. And I do find that that's like the same method that I do with this palette. But this one is just so impactful that you don't really need another deepening matte shade to make the look more impactful, because this is all you really need to use, because I use the matte shade in the defining area and then I'll bring it into the outer corners and I'll use the same shade, and it really is beautiful. Like, I tried to pull in like a brown when I used this palette and I didn't need it because it was just so impactful already. Ow, I just banged my hand. Jeez. Because I was going to cough. Sorry, I had to stop for a minute because my hand, that really freaking hurt. Do you see how red it is now? Stupid idiot. So anyway, because, you know, God forbid I do anything without hurting myself in 2 seconds. I'm not in love with this palette, but the shimmers are good. But it's just, it's not like the best quality from Oden's Eye. But I've seen like mostly positive reviews with this palette. And again, I've said the only person that I've seen that hasn't really had the best experience with this palette is Karen Harris. She did say she had a lot of issues with that orchid shade on her outer corners as well. So, but I like it. I'm not in love with it though. The palette that I really, really do love this month and I've been obsessed with is the Cosmic Brushes Muse palette. This is the last eyeshadow palette I'm going to talk about. And this is the one I'm wearing on my eyes today. I actually haven't worn it in a few days because I've been testing out the new Nomad palette, which will be in my favorites next month already. But I did try it in April, so I couldn't include it in this video, because these are my March favorites, obviously. And this palette is wonderful quality. I really do understand the hype about this palette. The mattes blend beautifully. So velvety smooth and pigmented and so easy to use. And the shimmers are absolutely stunning. They are so beautiful and foiled, and they're just gorgeous. I am going to swatch some of these shades because they are just such velvety, smooth mattes, and they're just phenomenal, phenomenal quality. I'm going to swatch these green shades because I actually haven't used this shade or this shade yet. So this one is Novu. This one is Water Lily, and this one is Softly. Yeah, really gorgeous. they're not going to swatch super pigmented, but on the eyes, they build up so wonderfully and they're just amazing quality. Like, I'm absolutely obsessed and I cannot wait to use. The only other two shimmers I need to use are these two because I'm wearing this one on my lid today and I'll tell you guys in a minute what I used. But oh my god, these shimmers are so beautiful. So here are some of the shimmer shades. They're just so wonderfully metallic, but they're so super shiny and they just glide on the lid so easily. I think I'm actually more in love with the shimmers in this palette. But the mattes are great quality and they're so easy to use, but the shimmers are just so ridiculously stunning on the lid that I've just been having such a ball and it's such a pleasure to work with this palette. So this is Inspire, this is Whisper, and this is Ambient. Ambient, I mean, not ambient. Oh my god, ambient. Beautiful, beautiful shades. So what I'm wearing on my eyes today, and I love this look. I love how simple and natural you can go with this palette, and then you can go like more impactful with the greens. So I'm wearing the shade Petal in my crease. Then I darken up the crease more with Haze, and you would think that this shade wasn't going to be deep enough to darken up the crease, but it really does. And it's so easy to use. And then I used Rosewood on the outer corners. And then for my lid, I used Antique. Oh my god, this shade is so pretty. It's kind of like a pinky, shimmery, neutral shade. But it's so pretty on the lid. And then I just took Muse and a little bit of luster mixed together on the inner corners. And that's all I have on my eyes today. And I'm obsessed. I love it. And then I just threw on a white liner on my waterline because I really didn't want anything on my lower lash line. But I'm telling you guys, this palette is wonderful quality. So those are all and this palette and this brand is well worth the hype that they have been getting. I understand completely why these sell out so quickly. I'm like, oh, why is it that they sell out like in 20 minutes? And I'm like, now I understand. It's super affordable and the quality is fantastic for the price. And she makes beautiful color stories, so I cannot wait to see what she comes out with next. And I wasn't sure if I was going to try this brand, and then Kat gifted this to me. Again, thank you so much, and I'm so happy that I was able to try out this brand because it is wonderful quality. Okay, now let's get into the concealer that I've been using this month. Okay, and that is the Urban Decay Quickie Concealer. This is the newest concealer to my collection, and I really like this concealer. Am I in love with it? No, because I keep on testing it out, but I do really like it. I don't think that this is the best concealer to wear to like for a long-lasting concealer, like because I actually did use this past Saturday when I went to my friend's house for a game night. And I was laughing, like, a lot because obviously we were going to have fun and laugh most of the time. And we want to do another game night. It was just so much fun, so we're excited to do another one. But this concealer is probably not my absolute favorite from Urban Decay. I prefer the Stay Naked one that I have that was discontinued. I think that concealer is one of the best concealers I've ever tried, and I still prefer my Tarte Hydro Flex concealer over this one, but this is a good concealer. There's like, it's just the fact that it doesn't last as long as the other two, but I was doing this a lot, so my, concealer creased a lot because I was laughing, but it didn't look great at the end of the night at all. It looked pretty bad, but that was because I was laughing so much. Why can't I talk right now? But I wouldn't say that this concealer is bad. I wouldn't keep it if I didn't like it. It has a thin consistency. It blends out really easily, but dang, it is full coverage. So you need like the tiniest amount, and it does brighten my under eyes beautifully. I really do like that about it, is that it's a very brightening concealer. So it doesn't look like stark underneath my eyes. It just really makes my eyes look like I'm very awake, even though you guys know I struggle with sleeping a lot. But this concealer is really nice. I like it so far, so I'm going to continue using that. Okay. And then the complexion product I've been loving this month still is the e.l.f. Halo Glow liquid filter. I reach for this so much, you guys. I'm wearing it today. And it's such a beautiful product. Like, I really do understand the hype around this because it looks so beautiful on the skin, but it's so natural, but it makes my skin look so even in its complexion, but it looks so natural, but it gives my skin like such a beautiful glow. I love it. It just looks so good on the face, and even though I thought that this shade was going to be too dark for me, it really does kind of absorb into the skin, and it doesn't stay super dark, and it's just wonderful. I love it, and it's just so easy to use. I use this for class a lot because it's just one and done. I'll use it when I'm sick on days like this because it's just such a light coverage product and easy to use. And I'm not going anywhere, so this is perfect. Oh, I just love it. I've been loving this product. It's so good. Okay, so now let's get into some... I talked about the Gwen Stefani mascara last month. I think I'm just going to be talking about blushes, highlights, and some lippies, and that's about it. Okay, I do just want to mention the Gwen Stefani mascara one more time. I have been using this to death. It's literally my favorite. If I want to use something that I know my lashes are going to be super volumized and lengthened and curled, this is the mascara I've been reaching for all the time. So I wasn't going to mention it, but I'm like, no, I used this a ton this past month. So I just wanted to give it a shout out again. This is the Gwen Stefani Can't Stop Staring mascara. I love it. It really lengthens my lashes, and I've been using it every time that I go out and I need something solid and something easy and to rely on. This mascara is phenomenal. I love it. It's just so good. And no one's talking about it. It's such a good mascara. So I know everybody hyped up the Tower 28 one. This one is great too. I think I'm going to have to declutter the Tower 28 one though at this point because I don't think it's good anymore because it's kind of starting to smell. Okay. Now let's get into some blushes. And there were a few blushes that I just fell in love with this month. The first two are the Haus Labs by Lady Gaga blushes. I still have them in their packaging because I haven't gotten rid of any of this packaging yet. Because I actually haven't put these away yet from my haul video because I knew I was going to film my favorites video this week. So I just decided to keep them in the bag because it's like there's no point in putting anything away because I'm going to just be talking about them anyway in the next video. So these are the blushes. Now, I know that I said for the highlighter, I don't think they're worth it. I don't think that highlighter formula is special enough for my taste to spend $40 on, but these blushes are beautiful. I really, really like these. So the two shades that I have is Pomelo Peach. They're just so velvety smooth and easy to use. And I've worn this blush shade a lot. This one's probably my most worn blush this month because it's such a beautiful peachy shade. Oh my god, they're just so velvety smooth and they're so good. And then this one is Hibiscus Haze. I wasn't sure if I was going to pick up another shade, but then I fell in love with this one so much, and then I kept on thinking about this color that I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick up the mauve shade too, but that's it. I mean, I would have picked up all of them because they're so beautiful, but funds. These things cost money, but I'm so happy to have these two shades. That one is Hibiscus Haze. They're just so velvety smooth and wonderful on the skin. She really did knock it out of the park with the formula with these, and they're wonderful. The only thing I would say is that I'm not really a huge fan of this packaging because the fingerprints just get everywhere, so it's a little bit annoying. So, but wonderful, wonderful quality. And then I just wanted to give a shout out to the Haus Labs bronzer again real quick because we're on Haus Labs. Oh my god, I love this bronzer. I use it all the time. This is the Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer in the shade Light Level 1. I can't stop reaching for this bronzer. These two bronzers I just love. And of course I love the ColourPop Alviva Beach. I use this almost every day. It's my favorite bronzer in my collection. I love it. I love my Gucci one too. But for some reason I've been reaching for this one over the Gucci one. Which is crazy because I love my Gucci bronzer. Oh wait, hold on. I almost forgot about this blush. God, I would have been kicking myself if I didn't mention this one. Oh my god. I love that blush. This bronzer is amazing. It's just so velvety smooth. It has like this natural, easy, like velvet look to it, but it's not that pigmented, but it builds up so nicely, and it's just that perfect natural bronze to your skin. I don't know. It just has that same velvety formula that the blushes do. And I much prefer the packaging of this one because I really like this more plasticky cover because this does not get as dirty as that mirrored packaging. But I understand why she did that for the blushes because it is really pretty. Okay, now this blush. I can't believe I almost forgot to mention it. This is probably my favorite blush that I've tried this month. I love it, but it is overpriced as hell, but I freaking love it. And that is the Gucci O2 Tender Apricot Cheeks and Eyes Powder Luminous Matte Blush. I love this blush. I know a lot of people had very mixed reviews about these, and yes, they are so expensive. I got to try this because my boyfriend got me a gift card for Christmas finally, so I decided to splurge on getting this blush. I love it. It's just such an easy formula to use, and I love the way that it builds up on the cheeks. I've been reaching for this one over my Pat McGrath blushes when I go out like for special occasions. I wore this on his birthday. Oh my god, I just love it. It looks so beautiful on the cheeks. I don't know what it is about this, but I just really, really like the formula, and I like that it's more buildable and not like super pigmented. And like the same thing with these are a bit more pigmented than the Gucci. And this is $38 as opposed to $49, so these are still 40 bucks. I mean, you do get a lot more product though. I think you get 0.39 ounce, 11 grams of product in here. And the Gucci, you get, it says, this is 5.5 grams. So it's literally half the amount of this one because it's 5.5 and this one's 11. So it's literally half. And you're paying $10 more. So this is definitely not worth that much money. But if you have an opportunity to try it with the 20% off from the VIB sale, I suggest you pick one of these up. Because they're going to be discounted, and that's the only time you're going to be able to get a discount on Gucci, but I love it. I think it's a beautiful formula. So, okay, and then the last two blushes I wanted to mention are from the ColourPop Snow White collection. I think that these are the best products in the collection. These are just like such a unique colors, just such unique colors for ColourPop, and the formula is perfect. Like, they just go on so beautifully on the cheeks, and these tones and the like fact that it's kind of a more pearlized finish, they just look so beautiful on. And this blush is so pretty. At first I wasn't sure if I was going to use this as a blush, and I thought it was going to be more of a highlighter, but once I put it on my cheeks, I'm like, wow, they just look so beautiful. They have like this glowiness to them, but they're not glittery whatsoever. They're just so freaking good. So really, really like these. And the other color is Fair Enough. And oh my god, this color I've worn a few times too. It's so gorgeous. And I think it works for a variety of skin tones, because I feel like deeper skin tones could wear this too. But on me, it's such a gorgeous, like super poppy orangey blush. Oh my god, it's so pretty. I think they do a great job with their cheek and their highlight range when they come out, and even their bronzer range. I think they do a great job with releasing like 6 shades of bronzer that works for a variety of skin tones. Like the shade selection in this were really, really good. They were unusual shades, but they came out with a range that everyone could use. And I feel like they do the same with their blush and highlight products when they do certain collections. I wish that they would make the eyeshadow palettes more versatile, especially that Snow White palette. Like I've said before, I don't think it works for a multitude of skin tones. But the cheek products are great. So that's everything when it comes to blushes. Now, of course, I have to mention my favorite highlighters again. I'm going to take them out of the packaging because I don't know why they're in the packaging still. Like I said, I just was not able to put anything away yet. And also, since I've been under the weather, I just have not been bothered. The only things that I've put away is the eyeshadow palettes because I've actually been displaying them because I think they're all great spring palettes to display right now. Why can I not get this out of the freaking packaging? Hold on. Struggle is real. So the highlighters, obviously, I'm going to be talking about are the Rare Beauty highlighters. I freaking love these. I know some people think that these are too intense, and I'm actually surprised that Rare Beauty came out with something this intense because she's very into like the more natural makeup, but these are some of the best highlighters I've ever tried, especially when it comes to mainstream highlighters. I'm not too wowed by the highlighters in Sephora anymore, but these are absolutely stunning, and I love how blinding they are. This one is the shade Enlighten, and the formula is so ridiculously smooth and beautiful, and just the intensity of these are just so gorgeous. So that one is Enlighten. I've been wearing these a ton, and anytime I need to like amp up a highlighter that I'm not like obsessed with, or it's not doing what I want it to do, I'll throw one of these on top, and it'll just be like absolutely gorgeous. I know that every single time I use these highlighters, they're just going to be stunning. Like it does not matter if you have powder on top or if you like have a brush that's not like super clean or it has like spot cleaner in it, it'll still glide on your cheeks no matter what. Those are the kind of highlighters that I freaking love. I don't love the ones that you have to like work with or make sure there's no powder on. Like I kind of had to do that today with the highlighter that I'm wearing, and I was like, okay, I'm not in love with this. Okay, I'm going between highlighters, bronzers, and blushes because there was one more blush I forgot to mention when I was talking about blushes, but that's fine. So this one is the shade, what is this called again? Exhilarate. And this one, again, is such a gorgeous goldy shade. It's almost slightly too dark for me, but it has like this undertone that the way that it reflects is that it just works for my skin tone. So really, really love both of these. I cannot stress on how good these are enough. I mean, you're only getting 2.8 grams of product, but they are so worth it. I love these. So I think that these are way more worth it than the Haus Labs highlighters, in my opinion. I prefer these over those. Okay, and then the last two highlighters. This one I like more than the other one I'm going to talk about. So these are both Super Shock highlighters from ColourPop. And this one is the shade Felicity. Oh my god, I love this highlighter. It's such a unique highlighter in my collection. This is just gorgeous on the cheeks. It's like I thought it was going to be much more pinky tone on the cheeks, but it's like kind of a peachy tone pink, and it's so lovely. Oh my god, it's so gorgeous on the cheeks. I have been loving this every time I use it. I mean, I've only used it twice, but it's so pretty. You can't even see it on camera on how pretty it is. But there's so much more like peachy pink in person. It's almost kind of like a duochrome highlighter. But oh my god, it's so pretty on the cheeks. And I'm so glad I got this because of Angelica Niquis's recommendation. Because she would rave about this highlighter. And I'm like, for good reason. I'm like, it's so good. And I don't really have like too many of my older highlighters from ColourPop anymore because they do go off after like a couple of years, maybe like 4 years. I started to notice that they didn't smell that great anymore, so I did declutter those, but oh my god, their Super Shock formula is great. Now with this one, I really love the tone and the shade of this. I think it's a good highlighter, but for some reason, it doesn't perform as well as the other one, but it's still a beautiful highlighter. So this one is from the It's a Small World collection, and this one is called Jubilant Chorus, and it's a beautiful, super whitish gold, and it is really pretty, but I'm not in love with the way that it goes on the cheeks, but it's still really pretty once you have it on. So I like it, and I'm glad that I have it, but and I have been using it quite a bit, but it's not my absolute favorite highlighter from ColourPop. Like, kind of the same thing. I kind of feel the same way about it as I do about the one from the Harry Potter collection. Wow, my foot fell asleep. Because I haven't moved it in like a half hour. But it's okay. It's pretty. I like it. That's why I'm mentioning it. But it's not my absolute favorite highlighter from ColourPop. And then the last ColourPop product is one of the new blushes from the new blushes that they launched. And this one is the shade No Rules. And the reason why I got this one is because I really just wanted like another nudie option of a blush. Like, I didn't go too crazy with blushes this month. I mean, I really just wanted to try the Haus Labs ones this month. And then I picked up a couple more here and there from ColourPop. But I haven't been going too blush or highlighter crazy this year. I've been picking up a few here and there of the ones that I really want to try. And I really like this blush. It's really, really nice. Very nice formula. Very pigmented, but just such an easy blush to use. I don't know. I just feel like their blush formula keeps on getting better and better. And they're just such a trusty, easy blush formula to use on an everyday basis. It's not going to really swatch that great on that part of my hand, but it's a really pretty blush. But I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more nudie tone. This is still kind of like peachy nude, but it's pretty and I really like it. But I was hoping it was going to be more of like an everyday nudish color, but it's still kind of warm tone, but I really like it. Okay, and then the 3 lip products I wanted to mention. The first one I'm absolutely obsessed with, and this is the Tower 28 Juice Bomb Tinted Lip Balm in the shade Mix. And this is the nudie shade in the range, and oh my god, I love this formula. It's just so good that I want to pick up another shade during the VIB sale. So that one is the shade Mix. I just love it. It's such an easy lip product to use for every day. I've worn it, I believe, like 3 times at this point, and I just love it. It's just so easy on the lips, and it makes your lips look so juicy. It's almost the same as the Just a Tint lip balms from ColourPop. Like, those are the only other lip crayon formula that I own, but I love this. It's just so good. I really love Tower 28's products. I always end up falling in love with their products. They're just a really solid brand for me. And this is a really, really good lip balm. So I'm so glad that I tried that. And then the last 2 products are from ColourPop. But these are just 2 See, I didn't really go too ham on lip products this month. I only got 3. So pat myself on the back because I really don't need to add any more. But I was really missing this lippy stick in my collection. Sorry. And this is the shade Cookie, and this is one of the first lippy sticks that they ever came out with. But I did since declutter the original one that I had, and then I decided to pick this one up at Ulta a couple of weeks ago. And I'm so happy that I did. I've worn it a few times already, and it's just such a trusty, easy go-to nude. Whenever I don't know what to throw on, I'll just throw on this lippy, and it just goes with everything. So, and I still love the formula of the lippy sticks. They are freaking great. And then the last one is the Luxe lipstick in the shade Appy. It took me so long to pick up this lipstick. I don't know why, but I finally decided to order this when they did a random 30% off sale a couple of weeks ago. And this is such a pretty nude. I mean, y'all know I love the Luxe lipstick formula. And I do notice some differences with this formula as opposed to the newer ones, but it's still freaking amazing. This is my all-time favorite lipstick formula. I don't know what it is about these lippies, but I love this formula so much. And this one, again, is kind of a warm tone nude. Y'all know I love my warm tone nudes, but it is a little bit different than Cookie. Cookie's a lot more brown base. Appy is a bit more lighter. It's a beautiful lippy. And I've worn it a couple of times too. All right, so that is it, you guys. That is all my favorites for the month of March. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your favorites were this month. So please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at CBW819 and check out my Poshmark at the same handle. At least this isn't too much of like a coughing cold. And it's more so just a really stuffy nose and blowing my nose every 5 seconds. But yeah, I think I had an upper respiratory infection a few weeks ago because that cough was terrible, but it's not as bad as the one that I had like a couple of years ago. Like I would cough to the point that I was like coughing up mucus. Like that's how bad that was. But I haven't been that sick in a really long time. So this is just a cold. So hopefully I'll be over it soon. This is day 3. So yeah, I love you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye!